And so my goal for you guys is just to buy that one property and then maybe two. That would be my goal. And so all that we do, we wholesale properties. So we put properties under contract and assign the contracts. We fix and flip, and we do novations. I'll talk about that in a second. But we gain the cash so that we can then buy and hold. And that's a game changer um, for most people. It begins the process of building generational wealth. It's what we all need to get started. If you're ambitious, of course, you'll own more than just one or two. If you're ambitious, you'll own multifamily. But at minimal, one investment property, um, it could be a life changer. So, oh, Sam is in the house. What's up, Sam?
Hey Greg, how's it going, my friend? Long time, man.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Good to hear your
Thanks for
voice.
letting you too, my friend. Appreciate it. I just threw a quick question in there. I know, you and I talk when I see you at the gym or sometime walking the path, but just you get a chance. Just want to kind of get your thoughts on that with
Yep.
rents being high and everything. Yeah,
I'll
appreciate it.
definitely touch on it. I'll definitely touch on it.
Thanks, Greg. Talk to you soon.
I see Gary. So Gary McKeith, and I don't know, Gary, if you heard me talk about just owning one property is a game changer. Owning
I,
two as an investment property starts to build generational wealth. Home ownership starts the process of building generational wealth. And I say all that because I mentioned Gary because I know Gary's got a few buy and hold properties. And I don't know what his end goal is with those properties. But he gets it. He understands what rental properties can do to go along with whatever you guys have for your retirement. He's a retired firefighter, so I'm sure he gets a pension. And I don't know if it's called a 401k or TSP, whatever it's called. But then he's got these properties. I think of one. He's got one, I think, close to one of my properties in Deanwood, or at least used to. And I know he's got a ton of equity in that one because I've got a ton of equity in mine. So Gary, why don't you unmute yourself? Do you have a sort of a strategy for your investment properties, and how do you see your investment properties helping your retirement?
hey, Greg. Well, thanks. Well, actually, I only have one investment property, but the one I have is the one that you mentioned in Deanwood, and I bought that. That was actually the first property I bought to live in back in the '90s. So I started renting that out in 2011 when I moved out, and actually the house that we live in now, I bought at the auction, at the courthouse auction up in Marlboro. But I'm still out there looking. So um, it's just like you say, it just helps out. Like you said, it's a firefighter thing. So we get a pension. We don't have a 401k, but we have what's called deferred comp, which is a 457, which is similar. So we get that and a pension. And then the property, like I said, I've been renting it out for 13 years. I've had 3 tenants. I had 2 Section 8 tenants. Each one of them stayed for 3 years. And then when the second one moved out, I went to, I said, okay, well, I got the formula. So got it ready for the next Section 8 tenant. But actually, I got approached by a nonprofit that wanted to use the house for their office and for their business. So basically, that's worked out good because they've been there 7 years.
Okay. Well, so the nonprofit's been paying you for 7 years.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And one of the good things was, and the thing that was interesting when they contacted me, because I had it listed for rent, they contacted me, and when I called them, they said, "Well, we're looking for a place, and just so you know, no one's going to be living there." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, tell me more." So when they described what they did, the first thing I wanted to know was, well, was my house already set up for that? Was it like I had to go through any zoning issues, and I didn't. And then the other one was how did they receive their funding? and that worked out good. As a matter of fact, during the pandemic, because they deal with children, so during the pandemic they had to shut down, and when they shut down, they were closed from March 2020 to December 2020. But the whole time they were shut down, they paid me every month.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Section 8. So I've got a few that's Section 8. During the pandemic, I had no issues whatsoever. And so, yeah, that really works out. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, Gary. That's right, because the one that you bought close to was that close to Texas Avenue or in
Of Alabama, Fort Davis.
You sold that, you flipped that one, right?
Yeah, the original plan was to rent it out Section 8, but that was like my first rehab where I was running everything from beginning to end. So I ran into some little obstacles. And one was that it took longer to rehab than I thought. So in turn, I wasn't gonna be able to pull out the equity I wanted to do, like I was gonna do the burn method. So I just decided to pivot and went on and sold it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's what's good about real estate, you guys. There's different exit strategies. There's definitely different exit strategies. You buy a property, as long as try to buy it right. If you make a mistake, then you pivot. And so that's what I like about real estate as well. Let me tell you guys real quick about a property that I actually started today renovating. And so one of my real estate agents actually brought me this deal. She had a property in Trinidad that she was having a hard time selling. So Trinidad, for those that don't know, is a section of Northeast DC. I consider Trinidad, I split it in half. There's two sides of Trinidad. If you go down Bladensburg Road, the Heckinger Mall side, the old Heckinger Mall side, between Benning Road and going back towards Mount Olive, all of that, that's one side. And then the other side is the side closest to the Capitol. And so I'm on the other side, the side like Maryland Avenue, Heckinger Mall side. So I'm on that side, which I actually call the bad side of Trinidad. So so this house that I started today on Summit Street is on that side. It's not on what I consider the good side, which is like closer to what's the college? Gallaudet College. And so my agent was having a hard time selling the property. She said, "Can you come take a look and let us know what you think?" I went and took a look, and I said, "Well, it's not selling because it's dated." It had light blue walls. It has old carpet. Doesn't have granite. Doesn't have really no bells and whistles. And she was getting some showings, but no contracts. The other issue is it's a row house, but you've got to go up a set of steps, and then there's two houses. So you go up some like common steps, and then there's two houses, and hers is actually the second house. And so that was an issue. So here's what I told the homeowner. I said to the homeowner, if I can get your price down a little bit from where it is, I'll update the house myself. So we'll leave the house in your name. I'll update it myself, use my own money. And in this case, so here are the real numbers. The real numbers are she has a mortgage balance of $277. I promised her that she'd walk away with $75,000. So we're at somewhere around $350. There's a house 4 doors down, 3 or 4 doors down, that's a 2-bedroom sold for $460. Mine's a 3-bedroom. And so I'm basing my comps off the $460, even though mine's a 3-bedroom. And so if I can get $460, I'm basically at $350 for her. All I'm going to do to the house is put in recessed lighting. I'm going to paint the whole house like a light gray with a white trim, put in new baseboards, shoe molding, I'm going to put in LVP for flooring up and down, including the steps, luxury vinyl plank. I'm going to paint the cabinets. She's got the old Formica countertops. I'm going to put in granite countertops. I'm going to, in the bathrooms, I'm only going to change the flooring to like a really nice ceramic tile. She's got like a laminate in there. I should get the estimate any moment now, but I know that it's going to be less than, I'm hoping around 15, definitely less than 20. So if I've got her at 350, if I have renovation, let's just say of 20,000 or less, probably close to 15, let's just say 20. I'm at 370. If I can sell it for 460, that's 90 minus closing costs. So that's a nice renovation. So the way I'm going to sell it is, so I've given her a little over $5,000 to move out for first month's rent security deposit in a rental place. That 5,000 comes out of the 75. So she moved out. We did the walkthrough today. I did another walkthrough of my contractor today. She's moved out. After this month, after I think in 30 days, I'm responsible for the mortgage. I'm going to renovate the property. She's allowing me to put the property on the market to get a third party buyer, which is a buyer who's actually going to live in the property. And then we'll split the profits the way I described it. And so what I just described to you guys is what we call a novation. I'm under contract with her as the buyer with those terms that I just described. Then I'm going to get a new buyer. She's going to allow us to list it. My agent's actually going to list the property. And that new buyer is going to replace me as the buyer. And she's going to use the board-approved contract, all that. My agreement with her stays in place, that she gets 75,000 and then I get the rest. And the rest should be somewhere around maybe 60,000. And so that's a novation. That's an example of a novation. I've got a number of those under contract now. And I like those because I didn't have to go out and get a loan for this property. So I didn't have to worry about the high interest rates. We're leaving her mortgage on the property. It's not really a subject to. It's closer to a wholesale deal, where instead of me assigning the contract to a cash buyer, I'm really assigning the contract to an end buyer. The difference is the end buyer will buy the property at market value, whereas the cash buyer will not. The cash buyer, you've got to leave equity in the deal for the cash buyer so they can come fix up the house and then sell it. And so that's the difference between a novation and a wholesale deal. And so in this market, where financing is a little harder for investors and not favorable because of interest rates, novations should be part of your arsenal as an exit strategy when you're purchasing these properties, where you don't necessarily you don't use any financing. And so here's the thing, on last point. And so on this property, my agent brought this to me. She's going to get I negotiated with her. I think I'm giving her 1.5% commission, whereas she wasn't getting anything. She had lost the listing. Bringing me in was a last resort. So she's getting 1.5% because she'll be on both sides. I brought in another investor basically as a private lender, but not as a private lender. I brought in another investor as a partner. So that investor is putting up all the money. So I'll split, let's just call it 60,000. I'll split the 60,000 with the other investor, and I'll make 30. And I may make a little more, I may make a little less, but let's just call it 30. We'll split the 60. After he gets his money back, we'll split the 60. What's wonderful for me is I just put the deal together, completely just put the deal together. I'm not putting up any money whatsoever. And if everything goes right, and I'll let you guys know. I'll even, if you guys want, come to the property and shadow me one day. I'll make $30,000 having not had to put up any money whatsoever. And so that's good. And so part of the lesson is find the deals and let's just put them together. You don't always necessarily have to even put up the money. But if you have the money and you can put the deal together, you know, that's a quick, hopefully we're in and out 90 days. Obviously no seasoning issues with FHA or anything like that because the house stays in the homeowner's name. But if you're able to do those on your own, in this case, it's $60,000 in your pocket. I've got another deal that I don't have yet, but once I get it, I'll let you know. But novations work even better on higher priced properties. And so we have one where the after repair value is 90,000, is 980, you guys. The after repair value is 980. We have an oral agreement with the seller to promise her profit at 700,000. She owns it free and clear, 700,000. House probably needs about $100,000 worth of work, so that's 800,000. If we can sell it for the 980, that's $180,000 profit on an ovation where we didn't have to. Now it's not going to be 180. It'll be 180 minus some closing costs. Call it 150. That's $150,000 on an ovation where you don't have to, you just have to go in, fix it up, and then put it on the market on the MLS and sell it. Look, if you don't have the 150, don't put it under contract. We can find private lenders, whether they're within our group or not, hopefully within our group, but if not, and then give someone like either an equity share partnership or just pay them 10%. Give them a 10% return on their 150 or short-term investment. We can do those deals. We can definitely do those deals. So that's what I'm currently working on. I've got that one. I've got a 4-unit in Anacostia. If you guys have anyone, I'm under contract for $725. I'm wholesaling it for $750. If you guys have someone and want to put something on top of the $750, or we can split the deal, however that works. If you have someone, I've got the one in Crownsville where we stopped the foreclosure last week, and my bankruptcy attorney stopped the foreclosure the day of the foreclosure. And so she has sent the tenants a 30-day notice to vacate. Once they get out, we'll go in. I'm doing an ovation on that one and renovate and sell. And I got a couple others too.
Hey, Greg, that Trinidad property, are you putting any new appliances in there?
I'm not putting it. So she's got stainless steel appliances that I'm going to clean up.
Oh, okay.
And then get my stager to really stage that kitchen really well. So I'm putting in that kitchen, I'm going to paint the cabinets. I'm going to put in new granite countertops. And we're going to run the LVP into the kitchen, so the flooring. We're going to put in recessed lighting in there. And that's it. Oh, we're going to put in, I like using the beveled subway tile for the backsplash.
Mm-hmm.
And then because the appliances is going to cost me close to $3,000. So, and they're not in bad shape. I'm just going to clean them real good, and hopefully when she goes in there and stages that kitchen for me really good, the kitchen will pop. Especially what we put in the backsplash, paint the cabinets, put in new granite, we're going to run the new flooring in there. I don't. I'm not gonna put in we're gonna clean them real good.
Yeah, I think you answered my question. If you're staging them, you get good images to put online. I'm sure it'll get a deal sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
especially based on how it looked before.
Rosalind has a question. Go ahead, Rosalind.
Hi, I came in maybe 10 minutes late. I think you were talking about novations and you said just find the deal. Can finding the deal be looking at listings or getting listings from a realtor or whatever that are about to expire or been on the market a certain number of days? Like, what is a possible good novation opportunity? I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, I think in terms of a marketing strategy, I think you could do that. You could go after either expired listings or listings that have been on the market for over 30 days. And then we would have to see if the realtor is open to offering their client, the seller, that opportunity, that option. The problem with finding them on the MLS is the realtor doesn't understand real estate investing.
Mhm.
They kind of muddy it up, because if they don't understand it and you can't get them to understand it, then they're not gonna be able to articulate what we're trying to do to their client. The first thing with a realtor, just for everybody, is you've got to show them how they're still going to get their commission, even though you want to do something creative. That's the first thing you've got to do. And so you've got to build them into the deal, their commission. And you got to tell them, look, your property is not selling. We'll be able to pay you a commission, but you're not going to get as much as you would have gotten. But something is better than nothing. But here's what we want to do. This is what we propose. If there's enough equity, we can use our own money to make some renovations to the property, so it's valued a lot higher. We can promise your seller a certain amount of money as profit, or sell it for a certain amount, and then we'll sell it for more, and we keep the rest. And so that's basically the script, and we will pay you. We'll write you into the deal, and you'll get your commission. I would say that MLS is a good place, but I just think a better place is your normal your normal marketing strategies, like postcards are really good. Like a direct mail piece, as far as postcards, cold calling, social media, probate. Those are the best, because a lot of you guys on here have found what you would consider wholesale deals, but the numbers just didn't work. Novation gives you another option when the numbers don't work, because when we're wholesaling, we want to put something under contract at 65% of the after repair value minus repair costs, and then we want to wholesale it to a cash buyer at 70%. Oftentimes those numbers don't work, so you're not able to do the deal. On a novation, we can go as high as 80, sometimes 85%, and still make money, because we're selling the property not to a cash buyer, but to an end buyer. So there's more room in there for us to make money, because they're going to be buying it at either market value or close to market value. And that's why I say, the higher the sales price, the more money you can make on an novation.
Thanks.
But I would also say, Rosalind, that if you find some deals, just call me. Let's see if we can put the deals together. So you can call either expired listings, or I'll say listings that have been on the market for over 30 days. And just see what you get. But it's just a little tougher trying to explain all this to a non-investor friendly agent. They just won't get it. You got to
Okay.
lead with, you're still going to get your commission. You're still going to get paid, but here's another option for you.
Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
Greg, what about software like Privy? Looking for off-market deals.
That's the best way to go, is an off-market deal. Going straight to the seller is the best way to go. Explaining it to the seller. So I sent out a postcard. I think it was a postcard, or actually the one in Crownsville. I think he sent out a postcard, and he talked to the homeowner, but he really couldn't figure it out. So he called me and said, "Look, I'm just going to give you this deal. I think you can probably figure it out. I think it might be a novation. You just call, and if you can work something out, just throw me a little tip or something." So I called her, talked to her, went over the numbers, found out that she had about 100. She's got about 100 and about 150, $160,000 worth of equity. It's a split foyer in a really nice part of Crownsville. Her biggest dilemma was, when I talked to her, her house was going to foreclosure the next week. So it took me a whole week to convince her to go under contract with me and to do a novation. And like literally on the day of the foreclosure, which was one day last Monday, I think, a week ago today, I got my bankruptcy attorney. Then I had to convince her to file bankruptcy to stop the foreclosure. And the same day, my bankruptcy attorney stopped the foreclosure, like hours, like 2 hours before the her auction time was 4 o'clock. It got stopped at like 2 o'clock, but it was stopped. And then so then I wrote a letter for her to send to her tenants to give them a 30-day notice to vacate. They were on a month to month, so of course I didn't write it. Keith knows who wrote the letter for me. Keith.
Mr. AI.
So I went into ChatGPT. They wrote the letter for me, and hopefully they'll be out soon. And then we'll go in there, clean it up really, really good, and then put it on the market and sell it.
Hey, Greg, Sam, real quick question. So I do a lot of marketing to the pre-foreclosures, and of course, there's a lot of equity in some of those properties. So you just mentioned that this particular one was one of those situations. But with the pre-foreclosure, you obviously, before they go to the courthouse and they still got that time, have you had any success with using this strategy?
Oh yeah. The biggest thing is, the biggest question is, how much time do you have? And oftentimes you've got a lot of time, especially in the state of Maryland. It might go into foreclosure, but the state of Maryland gives you sometimes, depending on the mortgage company, up to a year. Like the state of Maryland is the most lenient state for foreclosing in the country. So it just depends on how much time you have. In this case, she had no time. And so the easiest way to stop a foreclosure, 2 ways to stop a foreclosure. A contract can stop a foreclosure. If you have a minimum, I'll say at least 2 weeks before the auction date, you provide a contract saying that you're going to buy the property. Most cases that'll stop the foreclosure, because the bank is not in the business of owning real estate. They're in the business of lending money, and it costs them about $60,000 to foreclose. But beyond that, so if it's less than 2 weeks, the only way you can stop the foreclosure is filing bankruptcy. And she was willing to do that. As a matter of fact, I proposed it. She did it, and then like Wednesday, she said, "You know what? I filed this bankruptcy. I'm gonna put these other bills into the bankruptcy. Because my plan was just to file the bankruptcy, just to stop the foreclosure. And then, forget the words, not coming to my mind. And then, not go through with the bankruptcy. Just let it stop, and then not go through with the bankruptcy. It's a word for it, I can't remember. But then she said, well, since I filed it, I might as well put all these other credit cards and stuff in there. So it worked out for her. But on a pre-foreclosure, depending on how much time you have, you might have enough time to either do some work in it and sell it, or I always talk about this one we had in Accokeek, where it was a pre-foreclosure. They had so much equity in it, it made sense for me to it made sense for me to bring the mortgage current. So I brought the mortgage current in there, and the numbers still work. So I brought the mortgage current, she moved out. I gave her like $5,000. She moved out, and then renovated the property. I did a subject to on that one. Renovated the property, and then put it on the market. And then she came back to settlement, and I gave her another $5,000. So pre-foreclosures are perfect. I mean, this is
Yep.
a perfect, novations are perfect for novations are perfect for pre-foreclosure. So if you get some
Yeah.
pre-foreclosures, we just need to strategize on the best approach.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that, because I know we're gonna have another windfall coming in the new year with resetting of some of the mortgages, and so that's definitely a market that I'm in DC. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna come straight to you, because I would have never thought about that as a potential strategy, because there's a lot of equity in some of those, and I do the numbers ahead of time. So appreciate that, Greg.
Yeah, and so and I think it's just being able to look at the deal and just figuring out what's the best route to go. Is it a subject to? Is it a owner financing? And so the one in Potomac, Maryland, I know I talked about it last week, that's actually a seller finance. It started off as a seller financing anyway. She had no mortgage on the property. House had been sitting for like 2 or 3 years. House needs a lot of work in Potomac, believe it or not. Eyesore on the street. Soon as we pulled up, started taking pictures. The neighborhood just like, what's going on? We want to buy it, that kind of thing. And then, so that was seller financing. We proposed it and she said yes, but then later we proposed a novation and she said, well, that's better. But just kind of figuring out the strategy that's going to work best for us as investors, but at the same time for the homeowner as well. So a good deal is when both parties can walk away saying, this was a good deal for me. So we're making money. The biggest thing for us, especially in this market, and this market's going to be here. This market is not going away tomorrow, you guys. The market that we're in now is going to be here. Some people say until after the elections. I read a report, it's until 2026, which is fine. We just need to know what we need to do deals, and it's just to think creatively and give homeowners, sellers, more options. And so is it a subject to, is it owner financing? Is it an novation? Is it a wholesale deal? Whatever it is. All right, so Keith, you're not going to get off early tonight. We got a few questions.
Okay.
Karen Parrish is saying, when I send check mailers to the expired listings, do I still have to communicate with the listing agent? No, it's expired. The listing is expired, so you're not communicating with the listing agent. Can I just speak with a homeowner? I don't have my glasses on. Instead, since it's over, yeah. So if you're sending, Karen, if you're sending any type of marketing, mailers, cold calling, whatever, to an expired, it's a free for all. Like you're not the listing has expired. The real estate agent no longer represents that that homeowner. So you could easily send postcards, you can call them, you can do whatever you want. They're free reign. And so Gary is saying, how does the agent get included in the deal? And so Gary, it's just like you're negotiating with the seller, you're negotiating with the real estate agent. And in most cases, you're offering the real estate agent a little less than what they would have gotten if they would have listed it and sold it, but you're only talking to them because it didn't sell. And so it's a negotiation. And it's just got to work for you. It's got to work for them. They're not going to get what they normally would have gotten unless there's just a ton of equity in the deal. So you just negotiate. It's just a negotiation. Because bottom line is they're only talking to you because you're the only person that can figure out how to solve their problem, where the alternative is they get nothing. So it's just, you just figure out what you can afford to pay them, and they're part of that deal. So in my situation, I talked to you guys about, she agreed to, and she knew, she said, Greg, whatever you can give me, she had a 5% commission on it. She said, I'm happy getting 1.5 because they were ready to fire me. I'm happy to get 1.5. And so I said, okay, we'll give you 1.5. Dana says, Greg, what is the ARV in Trinidad property? And so in my Trinidad property, I'm using 460 because I want to be a little conservative. One sold 3 doors down for 460, but it's smaller than mine. It was renovated. It was 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. Mine is 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. My numbers work at the 460. Now, keep in mind, mine is on what I consider the other side of Trinidad. It's in Trinidad, but the other side of Trinidad. So it's not close to like Gallaudet. It's on the other side, Maryland Avenue, on the other side of like where Heck and Jamal used to be. It's on the other side of Bladensburg Road. I call that the bad side because probably about 10 years ago, I put a property under contract in Trinidad. It was on the MLS. I put it on the market. I didn't see the property. I bought it. I put it on the contract sight unseen. I put in the contract $5,000 earnest money deposit. I'm excited. Put it on the contract. All right, now let me go see the property. Go see the property, and it's freaking on the wrong side of I didn't look at it. It's on the other side, the same side of Trinidad. So I said, there's no way. And so I said, no way I can buy it. So I said, no problem. It's the same day as I went under contract. The agent's not going to care. Guess what the agent said? Agent said, we're going to take you to the commission. So he sends over a release one day, $5,000, and I gave it up. I sent him $5,000. Lesson learned. I'm cool with this one because ARV on the other side, on the what I consider the best side of Trinidad, is 800, 900,000 for the same property. And so I feel pretty good about this one.
Hmm.
And so Gary is saying, and so in this situation, you don't close until the renovations are complete. Yeah, you don't close until you find that third-party buyer. You don't close until you put it on the MLS, and that buyer gets their financing closed. So yeah, so you renovate it, put it in the MLS, get someone that's going to live in it, and they're going to pay market value, and then that's when you close. Talon wants to shadow, no problem.
Hey, Alicia, do you have a question? You can open up your, mic there, Alicia, if you have a question.
Okay, thank you. So I did send a question to you, Greg, regarding this probate, potential probate deal. So I have a colleague whose aunt just recently passed away, and her eldest sibling does not want to have anything to do with the probate process or anything like that. So essentially, there are three other siblings after her eldest sibling that's living right now. My colleague had initially wanted to, she expressed interest in buying the property from her family, but then when she realized that her eldest aunt, who she gets along with, no longer wants to, serve as, I guess, the executor, she's a bit wary about that. So essentially what I'm trying to figure out what would be the best next step for me if ideally I'm interested in possibly wholesaling that deal.
So first, so yeah, they've got to go through probate.
Right.
Someone has to be appointed the executor or the in Maryland, it's called the personal representative.
Representative, yeah.
And so once somebody is appointed the personal representative, now you can approach them and try to get under contract with them.
Okay, so before that happens, if it's no longer going to be, well, I guess I'll just basically have to share that with my colleague to let her know that, because I don't know who right now they're thinking of who would potentially be the executor. It's in DC.
Anybody can be that. It doesn't have to be a certain age, or like anybody can be the executor of the estate.
Okay, so including my colleague, but do they have to go through the other siblings?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the oldest sibling or
Okay.
it could be anybody. Who's
All
ever
right.
responsible.
Okay, so let's just say my colleague was interested as far as the going through probate. If her aunt says, I no longer want to serve in that capacity, is there paperwork that has to be signed from the other siblings to say, I do not want to serve in that role?
Well, not necessarily that, but
Okay.
okay with your colleague being the person.
Okay. Okay, and I'll just work with her. Let's say if she's not interested, I did share with her, hey, if you're not going to purchase it, let me know. But of course, there was the whole process of probate that they haven't gone through as of yet, and they're trying to determine who will serve in that role, if not the eldest sibling.
Yeah, I mean, oftentimes the eldest sibling is not responsible. I mean, you guys just look at Keith. Just take a look at him. He doesn't look responsible, does he? Does he look like he's responsible?
Not at all.
And he's older than me. Now it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the oldest sibling. That has nothing to do with it. It's just whoever really wants to do it, who's ever responsible. Sometimes it's left in a will who they want to be the oldest sibling.
Okay. Yeah, there was no will or anything like that. So I'll just keep talking to her about it. If she could essentially talk her aunt into allowing her to be the executor and then move on from there.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hey, this is Mersham. I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Hey, Mersham.
Hey, how you doing? How y'all doing? Yeah, real quick. So in a novation, how long are you in contract with the seller?
How long?
Yeah, is it like 30 days, 90 days, a year?
You mean before you go under contract?
Yeah, like with the in the novation contract, there, you put like a time frame, right?
Yeah, so it just depends. It could be 6 months. It could be, mine is like 90 days.
Gotcha.
Just depends on like the scope of work. Like how long is it going to take for the work to get done?
Gotcha. That makes sense. I appreciate that.
Okay.
But Greg, isn't it also the listing time as well? After the work is done,
That.
what's that?
You can set the listing period.
Okay,
Hey, Keith, I gotta leave for like 2 minutes
okay.
if there's any more questions.
Hey guys, so one thing I was telling Alicia earlier today, in any case, once that executor or responsible person is assigned, I would hold their hand and go to the courthouse with them to help fill out that paperwork. Even though that doesn't guarantee that you're going to get that opportunity, it shows good faith, and you're kind of bonding with that person. They're probably not going to know. And for those of you who may not know how to fill out those forms at the courthouse, you can not know together with that person and figure it out between the both of you there. But I was just basically telling Alicia, you got to stay in touch with those people. There's going to be other people in their ear, right? Giving them advice, consultation. So you got to make sure that you know that eventually it's going to come down to who they trust also. And so there's some good tips and advice there. I don't know if you guys have ever walked someone to the courthouse to get that done. I know Greg is a proponent of doing that too, holding their hands to the, taking them to the courthouse.
Let's see if there's any other questions. All right.
Yeah, Karen is saying she also was walked through the probate process. So, Alicia, there's someone here on the line here that could be of some assistance if once it comes to that.
So Alicia, if you want, just call me. I would walk, like Keith said, do exactly what Keith said. Just be a major helping hand.
Okay.
There's actually attorneys at the courthouse in every jurisdiction. That's their full-time job, is to help people, although they can't hire an attorney to help them as well, probate attorney.
Mm-hmm.
But you just want to be there so that once the paperwork is filed and they get to the point where they're appointed, the person representative, you want to be there to write the contract.
Okay.
Because once they file, it's public information. There's
Mm-hmm.
investors like all of us who work probate that they're going to get inundated with phone calls, with letters, postcards. They're going to get inundated. But if you stay close to them, you've got the upper hand.
Okay. And just one last question regarding this. So apparently there's a HELOC that was taken out on the home. It's fully paid off, but I believe some years back she took out a HELOC on the home and there's about $15K remaining on it. Let's just say I end up closing this deal with the family. Will that 15K will be paid off in the wholesaling process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lien on the property. So all the liens, whether it's a HELOC, a first mortgage, second mortgage, whatever. So we consider all that when we go through our numbers. But yeah, all that during the process of selling the house, all the liens will be paid off.
Okay. All righty. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Keith.
So just stay close. Just ask, I'm assuming you have my contact information or know how to
I
get.
do.
So just call me. Let me get, we've done, and there's some others on here. I
Okay.
think David's done a lot of probate as well. So there's a lot of people that can help you within.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, you guys, let's see. So I think that Karen has done some probate. All right. I do want to address, we had a question on, I think Sam had a question on multifamily. I think it's a great time for multifamily. Like I said, I've got a multifamily on the market now that I'm wholesaling. If you can do some creative financing for the multifamily, that's even better. See if the owner will take back a note, or hold some financing, maybe do a subject to on either the first or the second. But no, it's always a great time for a multifamily. The multifamily people argue that that's the only investing to do. And there's an argument for that, but no, it's a great time for multifamily. Section 8, if you go that route, which I recommend, paying both in DC and in Prince George's County, Maryland, is paying, they've gone up on their rents. And so you're getting top dollar rent. I'm renting out, I was gonna sell it, but I decided, I don't know if I even told you, Keith, my property in Landover, I decided to keep it.
Yeah. You told me, yeah.
And I just kind of threw out a number, 2,400. No, I threw out 2,300. And Section 8 is going to give me 2,400. But I've got to pay the utilities. So they gave me the option. So I took the 2,400 a month. I pay utilities, but there's ways to pay a lot less on utilities. And some of you guys know that better than me. There's different types of plans that you can get with the utility companies to pay like just one set cost, a set fee every month. And then I like paying the utilities also because I know that they're going to get paid. And so I don't have to worry about like the winter months when it's really, really cold and they haven't paid either the electric bill or the gas bill, and I'm worried about the pipes busting. I know that they're going to get paid, and I'm getting the extra money. So I'm getting 2,400 on a property in Landover, where it's going to put me at about $1,000 a month in positive cash flow. Now, some of that 24, of course, is going to go towards the some of the utilities, but the water bill over there is really, really cheap, real low. And so I'm happy about that. And so I'm glad that Section 8 just went up on rents to make it really favorable for us who are buying and holding. So whether it's multifamily, which is wonderful, especially if you're house hacking, you can get a 4-unit building, live in 1 unit, rent out the other 3, and they pay the whole rent. Or it's just an investment property. Like I said at the beginning, you guys, and I'll just repeat it, and you'll hear me say this over and over and over again. One extra property, one rental property is a life changer. And I've been in the game long enough to see it. Like I started at a very, very young age where I bought my first property at 23. And so I've seen like over the years, I've been in the game long enough to say, damn, if I'd have kept that property, if I'd have not wholesaled that property. I see, someone came up to me, oh, it was the guy that put a contract, Keith, on Brandywine Street. I wholesaled him that property on, what's the name of the street? Newcomb?
Yep.
I wholesaled him the property on Newcomb Street in Congress. Was that Congress Heights? Yeah, Congress Heights. About 2 years ago, I think. Was that 2 years or less than
Less than 2 years ago. I want to say something like the winter, early spring of 2023.
I wholesaled him. I must have made maybe $20,000 wholesale fee. He bought it for $260. So I must have put it on the contract for $240, something like that. Dude just got an appraisal for like $650. He's got over $300,000 of equity in that property already. I said, dude, I just handed you $300,000. And he's buying. I put a property on the market last week on Brandywine Street. But you know, I'm able to look back at these properties and see how much they've appreciated, including my own properties, to know what buying and holding on to those properties and buying them right, paying them down, eventually paying them off, or allowing your tenants to pay them off, along with you making one extra payment, can really do for your life. And it's just one extra property, along with whatever else you have set up for your retirement. If you get ambitious, 2 properties. If you get more ambitious, multifamily. The younger, the better, can really do for you. And so all of this, we talked a lot about novations, some wholesaling. We didn't touch on fixing and flipping, but all that are cash strategies to get the cash to then buy and hold. But my goal for you is just get one property, buy it right, pay it down, pay it off, use some of the cash flow to pay down on the principal. And when you get to retirement age, you look up, it's like, dang, I got an extra 800,000, or with 2 properties, I got an extra $1 million right here. What should I do with this? What should I do with the equity? Should I cash in? Should I pull some out? Should I just keep it and take advantage of the cash flow that's coming in for me? Or a combination, leave some for the children, whatever. But that's what I would want for you guys. That's what I would want for you guys. All right, anything else? I think we're good.
Hey, Greg, one thing real quick. You mentioned that the Section 8 rates went up in Prince George's County. Is that likely that other counties like Charles County, for example, have went up on their rates too?
Yeah,
Or-
absolutely.
Okay.
They try to keep up with the cost of living. I know Anne Arundel has gone up. I have a property in Annapolis. I think they've gone up as well.
Okay.
And so look, you guys, there's lots of deals out here. Keep your eyes and ears open, do some marketing. Postcards are probably the #1 marketing channel. Talking to people, social media is always good, branding yourself. If you want me to help you put together the deals, the strategy, I'm more than happy to. Also, I've been helping people sell their deals. I have what's called Investor Lift. It's a technology that helps, that I have access to like every cash buyer in all 50 states. And so you just give Investor Lift the address, and it'll give you all the investors that have bought properties within like a 50-mile radius. It's almost like the MLS for cash buyers. So if you need help dispoing or selling a deal, I'm more than happy to help you. All right, that's all I have, you guys. Hopefully you guys know how to get a hold of us if you have any further questions. But take care. God bless, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.